Hey, it's Adam at Hortons. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the most effective strategy to sell your house within 2 weeks, whilst also making sure that you get a top price. I'll summarize it into a 3-step strategy and explain how you can implement it with your estate agent. Or you might be an estate agent and you find this as a great strategy to discuss with your clients. Firstly, when it comes to selling a property, there's one common belief that does not apply to the property market, and it's the idea that to sell quickly, you need to sell cheaply. This is probably true if you're selling a car or a laptop or something on Gumtree. If you want to sell it quickly, you list it at a lower price, hope someone comes to see it, and they come with cash and you can do a deal there and then. When it comes to property sales, if a marketing campaign is successful, buyers go and view a property knowing there is a good chance there's going to be other buyers, and most people arrange second viewings of properties they're interested in. So it's a completely different mindset, and I'm going to explain how you can use this to your advantage as a seller. Before we go any further, all of this advice is based on the assumption that your property is properly prepared for the market. So you've got to make sure it's clean and tidy, clutter-free. You prepare the outside, weed the gardens, wipe down your PVC, freshly painted your frames or your door, mow the lawn, etc. And you've got high-quality photography and floor plans and a high-quality video tour. So your house is looking great and it's ready to go on the market. Let's jump into it. The first thing to get right is your marketing price. Without this, you're not going to get viewings. So before we go any further, it's important that you divide price into 2 different concepts: the marketing price and the selling price. Seems obvious, but you've got to bear in mind that the marketing price, the price that you put your property on the market for, is purely there as a marketing tool and nothing else. The price should only be there to entice. Buyers will be scrolling through their search results on their phone or laptop, and the first obstacle that we've got to overcome is getting them to click on your property. Look at the photos, check the floor plan and make an inquiry. At this stage, when buyers are scrolling through, what they're doing is looking at the picture of the house, and if they like the look of it, looking at the price. They're going through picture, price, picture, price, picture, price all the time, and it's only if the 2 correlate that they will click further. With this in mind, most of the time I advise my clients to price slightly lower than properties that you'll be competing with. Not by a huge amount, but just enough to look a little bit more competitive than other properties on the market. This may well mean pricing at more or less what the property is valued at, rather than going higher and expecting offers to come down, or you could purposely price it below and use a price prefix like offers in excess of or guide price to give the buyer the indication that the price is going to be going up and not down. Don't worry though, because in the next 2 sections we're going to look at what to do to get the offers to where you want them to be. So to recap, your house and the marketing photos and the videos are looking great. You've got your property launched to the market, pricing really competitively, and this means there's a good chance you're going to get plenty of viewings. Even in poor property markets, this should be a really effective strategy. I was having loads of properties get viewings with using this strategy in some of the lowest points of the property market in like 2010, 2011. So if you don't see an influx of viewings, it may mean that your property is not priced correctly. So viewings, let's assume you've had 5 or 10 viewings come in. First thing is that it's important not to book them in ad hoc, so whenever the buyer wants. This is really important, as the way you manage viewings is your next crucial element to making sure that your quick sale strategy is effective. Instead, schedule 1 or 2 blocks of viewings, not an open house. Make sure you give each of the buyers their own space to view, so don't make it a free-for-all. The simple fact that a buyer then has to book into a time slot, and the fact that they're likely to cross other buyers on the doorstep, will show to them that they're not the only person that's interested in the property. Also, have a think about timing. If you launch on a Wednesday, are you going to get enough interest to do a block viewing on Saturday, for example? Or should you wait until the middle of next week or the following Saturday or Sunday just to allow enough time for viewings to build up? The key is getting enough to have 2, 3, 4 people back to back. This process also creates the tone that you as a seller are in control. So let's recap on where we're at. So the buyer sees a property on Rightmove. Wow, looks great. It's really well priced. They ring up, they speak to the agent. The agent says, okay, we've got 3 time slots left. We've got Tuesday at 5 PM or Saturday at 2. You're asking, have you got any other time slots? They tell you, unfortunately, this one's getting booked up. The buyer then agrees to do the Saturday. They arrive at the property. Someone else is leaving as they're getting out the car to go inside. The buyers love it. When they leave, they see another family parking up just down the road. The buyers get back in the car. They both love it. The kids love it. But suddenly then they realise that actually they're up against a load of competition. How could any other buyers not want it? And this is when buyers really start to think that they want to do something that stops them losing out. The key is making sure that your house is seen as a bestseller. When we have this level of interest and you're controlling viewings in this way, hopefully the only next hurdle to overcome is the step of handling the negotiations. So firstly, with negotiations, the main point here is that you've got to leave it in the hands of a really good and experienced negotiator. Even if you feel you've got sufficient experience negotiating, maybe even it's part of your day job. But each type of negotiation has its differences, and a great estate agent is used to dealing with buyers and sellers day in, day out. They'll understand the nuances of bringing together a deal better than you will, but it's important to find an agent that you know is going to fight your corner and be a really strong negotiator. Choosing an agent is probably a different video altogether though. However, we'll get on to the strategy that your estate agent should be thinking about at this point. The first thing to bear in mind is most buyers make their best offer on their third offer, and this we see is almost always the case across the board. So after the blocks of viewings, try and extract people's first offers to open up the negotiations, but don't be concerned about what the offers are unless one really kind of jumps out to you, which you could well feel the need to kind of strike a deal on if it's really attractive. However, knowing the third offer rule, the next best step is to reject those first offers and ask for an increase. If this leaves multiple and hopefully really attractive offers on the table, the fairest way to handle them and also put you in a really strong position is going back to buyers and asking for their best and final offers. This will also be their third offer, but it's kind of an important ultimatum for them. It's an opportunity for them to put their best foot forward, knowing the seller is going to make a decision about what ends up on the table. So set a deadline for your offers and ensure that all best and final offers are submitted with supporting documents about how they intend to fund it and evidence of their funds, the agreement in principle for the mortgage, and anything else that could be relevant. You perhaps could even ask for confirmation that their solicitor is instructed. This means when your agent presents all of the offers, you'll know that you're making a fully informed decision, that the one you say yes to is ready to go. It's important to assess the quality of the information provided as well. So if someone doesn't go to the extra effort of compiling the information in detail, it could be an indication that they aren't going to be the most reliable buyer. You can also judge how quickly people submit it as well. In contrast, if your agent is dealing with an offer, the detailed kind of supporting information is submitted properly and it's in a really organised format, that could likewise be a really good insight into what they're going to be like and could be an indication they're going to be a great buyer. The combination of the viewing strategy to maximise competition, allowing for multiple offers and setting best and final deadlines is highly likely to result in the maximum possible price in the current market. It plays on competition and a sense of urgency. Buyers are likely to be pushed to the point of which they feel they would be prepared to walk away from the property. And the only reasons a buyer will do this is either kind of A, budget, or B, because they feel like they can get more for their money elsewhere. Why would a buyer not pay X if they can afford it, knowing that they're not going to be able to find anything as good if they carry on their search? So the final step is reviewing your best and final offers and making a decision. Like I said earlier, don't just look at the numbers, but also look at the buyer's position. Try and use all the information you've been provided to build up a picture about who you're going to be most comfortable doing a deal with and ultimately doing business with and having to rely upon for a number of weeks moving forward. This whole process can be done within a couple of weeks, and as we've discovered, it's also a way you can be really confident that you're achieving the best price possible. So to summarise, step 1 is price the property competitively and launch it to the market. Step 2, between 3 and 10 days after the launch date, have a block or blocks of viewing scheduled. Try and include a day in the week as well as on the weekend. Step 3, go to a best and finals deadline after you've received multiple offers and allow up to 4 days from taking the initial offers to setting the deadline. So moving relatively quickly. By the 14th day, at the latest, there's a very high chance you'll have sold your property. Before I sign off on this video, I just wanted to put a big caveat about this advice. So until a property launches to the market, you can never be 100% sure about how the market's going to react. It's important to take the advice of good local estate agents, but if the property is priced correctly, this is a pretty fail-safe way of making sure that you get a top price. If it doesn't work for you, you have to reassess the way your property is being marketed and more likely what the marketing price is. And finally, every situation is different. So if your estate agent feels this approach isn't quite right for your circumstances, they may have very good reasons for it. So just talk it through with them. And if you've got questions about this process, drop me a comment below or send me an email at adam@hortons.co. If you're interested in seeing other videos like this or just interested in seeing some property tours, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you press the little bell as well to be notified about new videos. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.